Alex here with a video on the Rittenhouse verdict. If you haven't seen it yet, please take a look at my video on the topic Rittenhouse coverage or Rittenhouse trial. I think that's what I called it, Rittenhouse trial. Yeah, the verdict itself, I mentioned in my last video, I expected. I guess they took a few days to come to a verdict, but my suspicion is it wasn't on the murder charges. It was just on the lesser charges. The thing that I wanted to mention in this video is not going to be a long video because there was really only one thing that stood out to me as remarkable that actually I think is a really positive thing that the public can take away from, or did take away from, the Rittenhouse case in general. And that is that it seems like, and correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments if this is something that happened in any of the other big trials that have been covered by the press, but it seems like in this case, people were paying more attention to the process. And specifically, it seemed to me like people started to understand that the information that was presented to the jury was something that could control an outcome. And I guess there were a lot of sort of nitpicky things that the press talked about, like the fact that the defendant got to pick out his jury from that random Tumblr thingy. And I'm not going to talk about any of those, but the one that I do want to talk about is the fact that the prosecution couldn't refer to the people who were shot as victims. And it seemed like a lot of people started to really connect the dots that whatever it is that is presented to the jury absolutely does have an impact on the jury's verdict. And I'm not sure that this is something that a lot of people understood in the past. I think a lot of people just figured, for the most part, the jury knows what they know plus some more information. And I think with this case, people started to realize how important the laws were and how important the judge was, because there was such an intense focus on rulings like the ruling that I just mentioned. People were concerned that, wait a minute, the jury is going to come to a conclusion based on what prosecutors and the defense attorneys are allowed to say and do and ask questions on in court. So I like that. I think that that is one huge difference with this specific trial. Again, guys, correct me if I'm wrong, but I haven't seen that before in any other cases. At least I don't have anything that jumps out at me. For the most part, in the other cases, it just seems like the public is watching and observing the introduction of evidence, and the public is coming to its own conclusion on the evidence, just as the jury is. In this case, I feel like people started to get it, that you can control a jury's decision based on controlling the information that they get. And that's an important thing, because I have always felt that with jury trials, that is not just a factor, that is the end all be all. That is everything. Is how you present information will absolutely control the type of outcome that you get. And I think that probably is something that scares people. I think people would like to think that, for the most part, juries are going to come to a conclusion regardless, at least to a certain extent, as to the competence of the attorneys and the competence of the court. But it is not true, in my opinion, at all. The pretrial motions matter, the discovery matters, the in limine determinations matter, and the presentation to the jury matters. I very, very strongly believe that you can get results that will vary widely based, or wildly, well, widely and wildly both work. You can get results that will vary wildly depending on the presentation that is given to the jury. Absolutely, 100% believe that. And I really want more people to believe that, because then more people will believe what they ought to believe, which is that the judge matters, the laws matter, and the attorneys matter. They do matter. It's not something where justice is going to come out consistent no matter what, or for the most part, no matter what. No, it won't. It won't. The specific jurors that are impaneled matter. The jury instructions matter so much that it's one of the ways that you can get a decision reversed. It's one of the few ways that I guess I'll change it to it's one of the more reliable ways that you can get a decision reversed is messed up jury instructions. The statutes matter, the judge matters, the lawyers matter. Yes, these things are 100% for sure going to make huge, huge impacts on decisions juries will make. And if people understand that, hopefully they will care a whole lot more about all of those other little nuts and bolts of the legal machine and not just assume that it doesn't matter that much. Trust in your juries, trust in your legal. No, those are important parts of the legal system. I think they're wonderful, but you do have to care about how all that other stuff works. You can't just blindly trust it because it makes huge, huge differences in these cases. Huge differences. Absolutely, absolutely does. With that being said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to post them down in the comments below, and I will see you guys next time.